It's been 15 years since the original Spice and Wolf anime was released to the world, and after disappearing for so long, the Wise Wolf Hollow is finally back to capture the hearts of the masses with her quick wits and assets. Yeah, her assets. Her fluffy tail and cute ears. What did you think? Anyways, with Frieren having finally run its course and concluded its first season, I'm sure there are plenty of us who are really feeling the hit right now. Thankfully, we're spoiled, and Spice and Wolf chose this moment to finally come back. While it's not the exact same sense of fantasy adventure, there definitely is a similar vibe in a way that might just help us get over the losses. In Frieren, a lot of the focus was about the character dynamics in their day-to-day life. Spice and Wolf does the same with Lawrence and Hollow. The overarching goal of their adventure does exist, but it's less of the focus of the story. Rather, just like with Frieren, the adventure they have is more so the appeal of it all. But Spice and Wolf's narrative is more focused on the relationship with Hollow and Lawrence specifically, in contrast to Frieren, where the narrative is more focused on Frieren's own self-reflection and growth, with direct relation to her relationships. Both worlds are super rich and create this sense of immersion that really grips you. In Frieren, it's super fantasy-oriented, but with Spice and Wolf, its world most obviously shines through its economy. Yep, you heard me right. Economy is a major part of how Spice and Wolf goes about building characters in the world. It sounds crazy on paper that an anime revolving around economy could even be entertaining, but here we are. The only time I ever thought economics would genuinely be interesting was if I had a mountain of cash to swim in, but if an anthropomorphic sexy wolf world is going to teach me about it, then I'm all game. Man, if I had Hollow as a math teacher back in high school, I might have actually learned something. Spice and Wolf does an amazing job of using money to do everything, whether that's flesh out its characters, build its world, or progress its story. Money makes the world go round in this story, but that alone wouldn't make this anime more interesting than a simple math class. The real MVP of this anime is its characters and how they interact. The relationship between Hollow and Lawrence is so well written. Every interaction between the two gives us such cozy vibes, to the point that every moment in the story is fun to watch. A lot of anime struggle to keep us entertained once the characters start yapping, but Spice and Wolf doesn't have any issues with that at all. Although there's a fair bit of dialogue, it never feels overwhelming. Information is never just being dumped on you like a bird in a black car. And it's also not super slow with nothing happening the entire episode. Spice and Wolf's dialogue is a big part of what makes it so fun to watch. Hollow, being the wise wolf, is naturally arrogant. She's a proud old deity that's confident in her knowledge and wisdom, but she's not stuck up. She often teases Lawrence and is fairly playful. She's always throwing in witty remarks as she snuggles up against Lawrence, going back and forth in banter. And Lawrence, being a merchant, is obviously going to be a bit of a skeptic. It comes with the territory. It makes for a great dynamic and fits like a puzzle piece with Hollow's whimsical personality. It's so fun to watch right out of the gate. You can recognize they care for each other, and it's genuinely heartwarming, especially when you consider Hollow has lived for centuries. She struggles with loneliness and is afraid of abandonment. The remake didn't really emphasize it as much in the beginning as the original did, but instead it spreads it out throughout the story. And I kinda like it. This version starts with future Hollow recounting her past. She's with someone who we can assume is her daughter, and she seems to be happy. It's a nice cozy way to contrast the lonely undertone of both Hollow and Lawrence's personalities. Yeah, Lawrence is also lonely. Being a traveling merchant sounds fun to us who've always wanted to have an adventure, but at the end of the day, reality is harsh. Traveling day by day means you have nowhere to call home, no way to make and foster deep, meaningful connections with people. It's an overarching undertone to the story that fits both Hollow and Lawrence. In a way, it's a sort of feel-good story because you know that Hollow's at least satisfied in the end. Two lonely people's fateful encounter with each other finally ends their solemn sorrow. They explore their medieval world using their money-making strats to make their goals come true. Spice and Wolf manages to use every detail of its economy to its advantage. When it builds its world, it doesn't even need to explain much about it. It's all explained through the money, from city to city, town to town. You can tell everything about how the people are living their day-to-day lives just by looking at some coins. It's a super unique take on building a world that to this day I can't recall seeing anyone doing nearly as well. Not to mention the OSTs are so goddamn good. It really puts you into that medieval world of theirs. And considering that in the last 5 years, anime has become so much more popular and so many new anime fans are popping up, this remake definitely should be on most people's watch list, and let's just hope it doesn't stay there for life. I genuinely hope people do get around to watching Spice and Wolf, because even with the fairly high reviews, I think this Spice and Wolf adaptation has gotten too far under the radar. It's genuinely underrated in the sense that people who know it understand how great it is, and yet it isn't talked about half as much as some random isekai ripoff. So if you're interested in any capacity, please check it out. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing or dropping a like. Have a nice day. Peace.
いや、もう一遍じゃ。